Look at all the junk and the rust and the dirt sitting in that when we pulled it off. Oh my God.
You're watching the Kodakuna Rider YouTube channel.
Good. And now just say thank you.
No.
Okay, so we've cleaned it all up. Before we do put it back together, there's some things I want to do. So in here, you'll see a little jet. See that jet there? So we want to take that out and clean it. It's just a flat screwdriver, so be careful, it's brass, but I found they're not in so tight. There you go. We want to make sure it's clean, so we're just going to spray through it. Now, don't go sticking a drill or something coarse down there trying to clean it out if yours is dirty, because you'll make the hole bigger and we don't want to do that. Just give it a clean spray through like that. Make sure in here is clean. And then screw it back in. Okay, so that covers that jet there. Now we also want to get the jet out of here. Can you see there? Let's blow it out. And also, make sure you blow through all your little holes. Okay, and we'll put it back in. So now we're ready to start putting it all back together. So I always start with the easiest thing first, and this is our little choke. Remember when we started, we loosened that off, so we can pull that apart now. There we go. So this top just pulls off. There we are. So we've got a spring. Then we've got this brass. You can see that this is really dirty. Don't use sandpaper on it. I've just got a bit of Scotch-Brite just to clean that muck off. Just to get it clean, that's all. I'm not trying to scratch it or anything. There we go. Inside there, we'll give it a little clean. Blow them out. Okay, put it back together. Big spring goes in the cap there through the hole where it slides. Put back in. Same thing, we can do this up when we've got it on, but there we are. So this pulls out for your choke. Look at that. Sliding so easy and beautiful now. Before it was sticking. It's beautiful. Great. So our choke goes on the side here. Now I have seen on some that they have a little O-ring on here. This model that I've got here doesn't have an O-ring. Okay. So we've got 3 screws. There's our choke all connected. working perfect. Okay, let's put our little diaphragm in here. Goes in the hole. Can only go on one way. Put our spring. Now there's quite a bit of pressure, so have your 3 screws ready. And this is the screws without any washer on them. And the same thing, this can only go on one way, but there is a bit of pressure. Okay, great. Next we're ready for this block here. So we've got a jet in here and we've got 2 rubber blocks. So these can come out. You can see there's one comes out. Now my kit doesn't come with new parts in this. And then we have this jet here. There's no number on that jet. Okay, go jet back in. It's all nice and clean now. Now these have got to go all the way in. I'll show you why in a minute, but make sure you get all the way in. There it goes. There it goes, all the way in. I'll show you why in a sec. So I've got a new gasket sitting on there. Sits over 2 pins. Now, if you see here, lift it up for you. See here, there needs to be an O-ring there. So there's a new O-ring in my kit and it just sits beautiful in there. You can't make a mistake. You'll see where it goes. Now, this goes over the top. Remember, we've got a long screw and a short screw. Now, why you've got to have these right in, when it goes in, if you haven't got them pushed right in, it won't sit down properly because these washers or plugs fit right up against in here and are held in by the frame of the carburettor. So you've got to have them pushed right in or you won't get that sitting down right. So the long screw over here, short screw here. Now when you put this in, don't do these screws down tight at the moment, okay? Okay, next we want to slide this in, which is the seat for our needle that goes in. We spray it out. So you'll see that slide there. Can you see in there? So when we slide this in, comes in from this way in here, you've got to line that up so it slides in properly. Now you'll need some pointy nose pliers or something. So we want to go in this way. You can get in from here a little bit. So first I just get it down in the hole as best I can. It's a little bit of finagling. Okay, I've got it in. I'm not sure if you can see. Now this is why you got this loose, because that's got to slide in there. If you have it tied, it won't allow it to slide in there. Okay, there it goes. Now we've got to line up with the little shaft. So if you've got your pointy nose pliers down, and just turning it. Okay. And there we go. It's all the way in. Remember, you got the flat washer. Get it up tight. Again, don't go crazy. So now that's tight, we can do our 2 screws down tight now. Just one more time check. And there we have it. Now we're ready for our needle and seat. Our float needle, you can see it's got a little rubber end on it that seals up when it goes up. But this end is a little bit different. Let me show you the two together. So here are the 2 needles. This one is the original one. See how on the top here it's exposed? So it was easy just to slide the float down into it. This one it's not, so you got to finagle a little bit and get that over. So it's going to take a little bit of mucking around. So have a look when if you've got a kit, what it's like. I'm putting the new one in, so I've got to finagle this over a little bit to this one. There we go, it's in. So now I've got to slide this float on. I've got to get that little pin over that metal in there. So I'm sorry, it's just too difficult to show you, but just be gentle when you're doing it to yours and gently get it over, but you can do it, okay? Oh, it got on as easy as that. I'm lucky. I'll see if I can get the camera to show you. You'll see it going up and down. So that's fantastic. I got that in really, really easy. I didn't think I was going to. Okay, we're going to do one of the things that worries many people, and that's set the float level. Now, as a rough estimate, you'll see, let's see if I can zoom in here. You'll see that circle behind there. And our float is just below that. So that circle is a rough guide that your float level should be level with the top there. So the way to do that is measure from the bottom of that float there to the top of the metal there. Okay, so I'm going to put up this picture now and show you the distance that it needs to be. I think it's 28.5. So I've set my calipers here. 28 point. So from here to here, we've got to be 28.5 without that lifting. So I go in here. Now I think it's a little low. Yeah, see that? I'm touching it. So to adjust it now, just stick a screwdriver in there and just bend it a fraction. Okay, we'll test again. It's just about perfect. So we've just adjusted it and you can see there, I can just see the circle. It's perfectly adjusted at the moment. So if you don't have a set of calipers like I've got, or you've got no way of measuring it exactly, set that float level to the top of that circle and you'll be pretty right. Whenever I've set my float level like that, I've never had any trouble and have never had to pull it off and do it again. So if you're too far up, if that circle is too exposed, you'll be running a little bit lean. If that circle is closed off, you'll be running too rich, okay? We've set all our float levels. So we're ready to put our top cap on now. Here's our new rubber that fits on the top here. So it'll only go on one way. There we go, it goes that way. Now there's a couple of little grooves in here that holds the rubber in place. So you just have to push down, get that in there. There we go, we're all in place. Now, when you slide this on, you just have to turn it a little bit sideways. There we go. So some of my screws were funny that we pulled out. So I've bought these bolts with a hex head on them that I'm going to use. You don't see here at all. So next person who pulls it off, if anybody ever does, won't have such a big trouble anymore. Here we go. We're nearly there. We're nearly finished. So here's my old one. Here's my new one. So we need to take this out and put it in here. Down in there. Can you see? Can you see it down in there? Get out in the sun a little bit better. Can you see down in there? There we go. Can you see the screw? So we need to undo that screw. It's only a nylon screw, a plastic screw. There we go. Now we can push that out. Let me show you what it's like. We've got the pin, of course. Then we've got a metal washer, sits over the top, and then we've got a spring that sits over the top there. When you put this in, can you see this little plastic pin? That'll fit into a little, we look here, this is where this pin comes out, and there's a little hole where it lines up. Okay, so we've got to line that up. It's very easy, so don't worry. You can get we can get the spring in later. So just go down in there. There we go. Now, to align that little hole up, all you need to do is turn this pin here and a little bit pressure down this way, and you'll feel it slide into place. Oh, there it goes. Then you can put your spring in. See if I can drop it in. That's in. Got it down there. Okay, this goes down in there. Remember, there's a spring, a little bit of pressure. Whew. There we go. You can't see maybe, but I can see that's all in place. You can slide that down in there. Now, if you're cleaning yours, don't scuff this with anything. Just clean it off with a bit of brake cleaner or something. Don't scratch it. There it goes in there. Now, in here, we've got a little O-ring. There we go, little O-ring. Don't forget your O-rings. There we go. Now, of course, this will only go on one way. There we are. Now, this has got to sit into a little groove. There's two ways you can do it. You can put a dab of grease around here and it'll hold it in place. How some people do it, they push it up like that, fold this diaphragm down like that. Okay. Put it in, sit in place like that. Then they put the big spring in and then they put the cap on. Both is okay. Here we go, we're all nice and clean. Sits over there. There we go. Put our 4 screws in. So that works on vacuum. So now we can push this up. Oh, there we go. And it's sliding beautiful. And there's our carby all back together. All done. So you've just got to do that to all your 4 carbies. I've got one more to do. And then we're going to reassemble all the 4 carbies back together. Thanks a lot. Always remember, drive like you know each other. And I'll see you on the next episode. Bye-bye.
Good. And now just say thank you.
No. Thank you.
No. Thank you.